Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are going to be recording my opinion on the 2025 Premier League season. Yes, I'm going to give my opinion where I think the teams are going to finish. Um, and I think I could give my opinion on that because I do like watching the Premier League a lot. I follow it a lot more than I do any other league besides, you know, Real Madrid as my favorite club. Um, but anyways, here we are today. So I'm having to re-record this because I made the first time I recorded this, I made it hella long. It was like 50 minutes long, and then the second time I recorded it, I was saying certain words a little bit too much. Um, but yes. Also, FC26 just got announced yesterday. I'm super excited about that. I have already pre-ordered it. Let me know what you think of FC26 in the comments down below. And yeah, I'm very excited to be for FC26, and hopefully we'll be hearing some more news pretty soon. But yeah, let's go ahead and do the I think my opinion is on the 2025 Premier League season. So here we go, guys. So I'm going to start from bottom to top in the relegation zone. Relegation zone. I have Leeds United finishing 20th. I have Burnley finishing 19th, and I have West Ham finishing 18th. Now West Ham can be interchangeable with with certain other teams that I'm going to be talking about soon. But the reason I do have these teams in the relegation zone, um, first off, Burnley. I do think Burnley have been making some okay, pretty decent signings in Kyle Walker and Humphreys and some of these other players, right? Yes, and they haven't let go of too many players. The problem is that do I think James Trafford and Esteves, who were two of the better players last season, do I think that they'll have another very good season this in the Premier League? And the answer is I don't think so. Maybe they will be the best players again, but I don't think it will be enough to survive the Premier League. I just don't think so. Now, if they make one or two more signings, then maybe we're talking about maybe they avoid relegation. Um, and that's just my opinion on Burnley. Uh, Maybe they need one big signing, as they haven't made any signing that's been over 20 million. I feel like Burnley needs a very big signing, a statement signing. Um, Leeds United as well. I don't think they've made enough efforts in their transfer window. Yes, they've signed Viggo, Gudmundsson, and Bornau, Emchaf, and an okay transfer window. But they've also let go of Junior Firpo, one of their better players last season, in my opinion. Um, Defenders, one of their better defenders last season. Guilabogi has been let go as well. I just don't know. I don't think it's enough for Leeds United to survive the Premier League as of July 17th. Now, with that being said, we still have a month and a half uh, till the transfer window is closed. I believe it closes in September. So yeah, um, I don't think they've made enough statement signings to warrant surviving. And West Ham. West Ham, I think, will potentially be fighting for relegation. They've signed Todibo on a permanent. That's cool and all, but you just lost Kudus for 55 million. One of your better players for 55 million. Kurt Zuma on a free. Danny Ings release. Kufal release. Fabianski release. Creswell release. Yes, they're older players, but you haven't really replaced them with anybody. And you signed Diouf as well for 19 million. But I don't think those signings are enough to warrant them staying in the Prem. Yes, they have Alvarez, I believe, is still at the club. Edson Alvarez is one of their better CDMs. Um, who else? Uh, yes, they have some semi decent players, but in my opinion, They will be fighting for relegation. Last season they finished 14, and I think with Tottenham and Man United pushing up a little bit above more on the table, they will finish somewhere in the 16th to 18th position. That's just my opinion. That's why I have them there. Next up, avoiding relegation. I have Wolves. Wolves can be interchangeable with West Ham. I think Wolves, yes, they've just lost Cunha and they've lost Nuri. Those are two big players to lose, and they made 100 million from those transfers, and they've already spent a little bit. I want to say they've spent about 40 million of that in Fer Lopez and Larson, who was at the club last season, and he's now been signed on a permanent. But uh, I don't think it's enough transfers for me to warrant. Oh yeah, that's good signings. They finished 16th with barely 42 points, and that's when they had Cunha and Nuri. Where do I think they'll finish this season? It's either avoiding relegation or 18th place. They could even finish as low as 19, in my opinion. But who knows? They could even finish somewhere in 15th, 16th place. It depends on who they sign. Next up, on lower mid table, 16th place, Fulham. 15th place, Sunderland. 14th place, Everton. 13th place, Crystal Palace. Now, here's why. Fulham have made no efforts in the transfer window to sign anybody. They've lost Willian, Carlos Vinicius, Osman, Hammond. They haven't signed nobody. Unless they sign somebody, two or three decent signings to replace those players and to beef up their squad, and I just haven't seen enough effort. That's why I have them at 16th. Now, one or two good signings could have them pushing up all the way up to like 14th, 13th place again. Last season they finished 11th. It was a very tight table. They could have finished as low as, in my opinion, as far as 13th. 6 point difference. Um, Sunderland. Sunderland are a team that have been um, making having a very good transfer window. In my opinion, they've signed Simon for 20 million, very good winger, for a team like Sunderland. Diarra, Enzo Lefi, Sadiki, Reinildo on a free from Atletico de Madrid, somebody with Champions League experience, Reinildo, and Taubi. Now, yes, they've lost Tommy Watson, and they lost Joe Bellingham as their biggest losses, but I do think that the signings they've made warrants them showing promise, wanting to survive. Most of these players are young as well, um, and that's why I put them at 15th. I do think they could potentially survive relegation. They've shown more promise in the signings they've made compared to Burnley and Leeds United. Uh, Everton, I have them at 14. Everton are a team who I think could finish somewhere anywhere from 13 all the way to 18. I think they could potentially get relegated as well. Uh, but they have showed promise. They have shown promise. They've signed Charlie Alcaraz and they signed Tierno Barry, who had a decent season with Villarreal last season. They've lost Dukure. I feel like that could be a big loss. They've lost Maupe, Mason Holgate, two goalkeepers in Begovic and Virginia, and Ashley Young. I believe they've also lost Calvert Lewin, one of their strikers for the last couple of years, unless they've re-signed him, which has not shown right here. Unless they've re-signed him on another contract. Um, yeah, Everton is showing okay business in the transfer window so far. That's why I have them at 14. Last season they finished 13. I think they'll finish somewhere with around between 40 and same amount of points they had last season, 48. They did drop a lot of points last season as well. There was many games where they were winning and they ended up losing. They were winning by 2 goals and they ended up losing. If they would have won those games, I think they could have finished somewhere with around 60 points, honestly. But it's just their mentality, uh, and that's why they finished in 13. I think this season they'll finish 14. Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace are a team that haven't necessarily made too many signings. They haven't right now. They just Walter Benitez, Borna Sosa. They've released Joel Ward, Jeffrey Schlupp, amongst other players. Um, they need to make some business happen. They need to sign some players. They still have Eze, and they could potentially lose Eze. They still have Guehi, also could potentially lose him at any given point. Those are very good players. They do have European football. They're going to be playing Conference League this season. Um, I think it's I think it's an opportunity for them to get more silverware. Although I do think that they're going to put most of their focus into the cups and Europe, which is why I think they'll finish 13th, whereas last season they finished 12th. So not too much of a difference, but I think that they're going to put more of their focus in Europe and the domestic cups. Um, they need to make more signings for me to consider them being a mid-table team. I think they're going to be more of a lower mid-table again. Um, who did I have 8 through 12? Okay, 12th place, I have Bournemouth. 11th place, I have Brentford. 10th place, I have Nottingham Forest. Ninth place, Brighton. 8th place, Man United. Man United, I think. Well, let's start with Bournemouth. Bournemouth have just lost some of their better players. They've just lost. Where they at? They've just lost Kirkies. They've just lost Dean as the two of their better players. It just happen to be defenders as well. Yes, they've signed Petrovic and they've signed Truffert to replace Kirkies. Krupi coming back from loan at Lorient. Um, he had a very decent season. I think he scored 20 plus goals for Lorient with limited amount of minutes. Uh, if they do keep Krupi, I think that he will be a very decent player for Bournemouth. Um, but I have him at 12 because of the fact that they've lost Dean and Kirkies, two other better players. Last season they finished ninth. I think saying that they'll finish 12 is not too unreasonable considering that the difference is only 3 points between ninth and 12. Obviously, next season could be a lot different. Brentford. Brentford have had a decent transfer window. They've signed Coyote, Donovan, Kelleher, Milambo, and Henderson. Very decent signings. And yes, they've lost Flecken, replaced him with Kelleher. Yes, they lost Norgard. They replaced with Henderson and Milambo. They've lost Ben Mee, so that's where they could use maybe one more signing. There's potential that they might lose Buemo as well. If they don't lose him, that's why I think that they could finish in 11th place, somewhere mid-table. Uh, yeah, I think that's a reasonable place to put Brentford. Nottingham Forest, on the other hand, have just lost. They have just lost Anthony Elanga, and they're going to potentially be losing Morgan Gibbs White as well. They might be potentially losing. They've signed Igor Jesus, Yaya, and Jair Cunha. Those are very decent signings. They had a very decent Club World Cup run with Botafogo. Decent signings. Uh, but if they end up losing Morgan Gibbs White, that's why I have them in 10th place. As well as the fact that they're going to be focusing in Europa League. I think it's another reason for me to say that they're going to put their focus into Europe and potentially domestic cups as well, same as Crystal Palace and some of these other teams like Bournemouth and Brighton. Um, and I think that's why I have them at 10th place. Brighton, Hove, and Albion. Uh, Brighton have had a, if I recall, they've had a very decent transfer window. Let me see. Yes, they've signed Maxime de Kuiper, Boscagli as well on a free that's very, very good. Diego Coppola, Tom Watson from Sunderland, not a bad signing. And this guy, Chara Lampos Costolas, who has just signed from Olympiacos, 18 years old, if I recall, had a decent season with Olympiacos. Uh, can he do the same thing in the Prem? Time will tell. And yes, they just lost Simon Adingra. They've lost Joao Pedro, who's had a fantastic start with Chelsea. They've also lost Valentin Barco, amongst other players. Um, Time will tell if the loss of Joao Pedro and Adingra is going to affect Brighton too much. But so far, in my opinion, Brighton has had a decent transfer window, and that's why, in my opinion, yes, they finished in eighth place last season. I think there'll be a similar position this year. They're gonna finish again mid-table, somewhere eighth or ninth place. It's interchangeable. Some of these teams are interchangeable. Um, with Man United now, Man United haven't made many signings. As a matter of fact, they've basically assigned Cunha and Diego Leon. Not bad signings. But they've also let go of Ericsson, Johnny Evans, and Lindelof. You would think they want to sign maybe a center back and maybe another midfielder. If they can do that, if they can Amorim can somehow get his signings, the ones that he would like. Uh, I think they'll have a decent season. I don't think they'll finish in a European spot. I believe they will finish somewhere mid-table in eighth to 12th place, Man United. But I have them positioned in eighth. Um, I just think that's where they will they will finish a much better position than what they had last season, where they finished 15th. In my opinion, I don't think they'll have a crappy season like that. And yes, they need to sign a goalkeeper as well. Onana cannot stay if they want to have as number one if they want to have a decent season. Now, next up, Conference League. I had Aston Villa. Why Aston Villa? A team that finished in sixth place, close to Conference League, anyways. It's interchangeable. Aston Villa have had not the best of transfer windows. They're going to potentially be losing Emiliano Martinez, and uh, they've only signed Oskin, a young player, and Bizot and Redmond, and they've let go already of Robin Holson, Coutinho, House, some of these other players. Not like super important players, but they could be potentially even losing Ollie Watkins if they can keep him. Um, Emiliano Martinez, like I said, so that's why I think they will put their focus into Europe. They will be playing Europa League. I think they're going to be putting their focus into Europa League, trying to qualify for Champions League football. They could finish in Europa League spot. They could finish somewhere in the. I don't know if they could finish in the top four, but maybe five, six, or seven. I have them at seven. Next up, we have the two teams that I think will finish in the Europa League spot. Um, Tottenham and Chelsea. I think Tottenham will have a much better season than they did last season. They're gonna have Champions League football. They have a new manager, and I believe it's for Thomas Frank. I think they have a new manager. I've heard rumors that Heung-Min Son is not gonna be the star boy anymore for Tottenham, which is kind of sad to hear because he's one of my favorite players. But the reason I have Chelsea there, they've had a very good transfer window, signing Jamie Giddens, Joao Pedro, Liam Delap, Estevao, Esuogo, and Mamadou Sarr. Yes, they've let go of Petrovic, Humphrey, Arrizabalaga. Not too many star players. Um, and yes, their team might be overcrowded, but in my opinion, I think that's what led to their success in the Club World Cup as well. For Maresca to have 40 plus players at his disposition, that position, be able to rotate players left, right, and center. Um, I think that helps him a lot. I think that helps Chelsea a lot because uh, with a team like Chelsea playing close to anywhere from 50 to 60 games, being able to rotate your players is definitely key. As you can see with a team like Real Madrid, for example, who we had a limited amount of defenders. We had problems basically everywhere with injuries, and sometimes we ended up having to play midfielders at right back like Valverde, Camavinga at left back, Chouameni at center back, and that's because we didn't have enough rotational options. So I think Chelsea are doing very good business. Um, I think Chelsea could even finish in top four, in my opinion. Top four. Tottenham, I think will finish probably 6 or 7. It's interchangeable. Maybe even with Man United, interchangeable a little bit. But Tottenham, I think, will finish there. Tottenham also signing. They signed. They've on a permanent. They signed Danzo, Teo, and then they've also signed Kudus on a from West Ham. They lost a couple players, not too many important players, just Reguilon, Hosberg, stuff like that. Forster. I think Tottenham will have a much better season, 2025. Um, yeah, that's just my opinion. I think Chelsea is interchangeable with the top four. Um, Next up, we have Man City finishing fourth, Newcastle finishing third, Arsenal finishing second. Now, that leaves Liverpool finishing as champions. And let me explain why. I do think Arsenal is interchangeable with Liverpool. Uh, Liverpool could finish in the top four. They could finish champions. Arsenal as well has had a very good transfer window. Why do I have Man City so low? I think Chelsea could even finish above Man City and have Man City finish fifth. Yes, they finished third, but for whatever reason, Man City just hasn't been clicking. I think one of the reasons is Rodri. Ever since he got injured, they just weren't clicking the way they should have been. They dropped so many points, and I believe that's the lowest amount of points that they've had for a while. 71 points. I don't think it'll be that. Again, I think they'll finish with close to 80 points this time around, unless somehow Pep Guardiola just crashes out. But it could be interchangeable with Chelsea, like I said. Newcastle as well could finish anywhere third, fourth, fifth, even sixth or seventh. I'm placing them high, and I have reasons for that. Let's start with Man City. Man City has had a decent transfer window. They've signed Reindeers, Nuri, Cherky. Very good signings, by the way. Very good signings. But they've also lost Kyle Walker. They've lost Kevin De Bruyne, who I believe is a big loss for them, even though he's 34, 35 years old. I do think it's a huge loss. This will be their first season without Kevin De Bruyne. Um, but yeah, for whatever reason, Pep Guardiola has just been crashing out lately. Like when it comes to certain games, they just end up losing. Like at the Club World Cup, they lost to Al Hilal. Nobody saw that coming, and they somehow still lost that game. That's what I'm saying. Man City could be interchangeable with Chelsea and even Spurs. Newcastle. If Newcastle, they've just signed Elanga, right? If they can keep Isaac, and there's rumors that they're even going to potentially sign Ekitike. If they can sign a goalkeeper as well, and maybe a young center back, think I think I saw that they were looking at Scalvini, or I can't remember what center back it was that they were looking at. But if they can get a center back, a goalkeeper, and potentially Ekitike, I think that's a top four team right there. They've just signed Anthony Elanga. I think that's a big boost for Newcastle's attack. They haven't lost too many key players. They let go of Wilson, Lewis, and Kelly. That's why I think they could finish as far as fifth place. Yes, they're only 5 points away from third place. I think they could do it. I think they could potentially finish third. Now Arsenal, I think could finish champions, second, third, fourth. Same as with Liverpool. I think Arsenal have made very good signings as of so far, July 17th. They have signed Subimendi, CDM slash center mid from Real Sociedad. They've signed Kepa Arrizabalaga and they signed Norgard. Norgard is a good rotational player. I believe they've signed him because they've let go of Jorginho. Players like Thomas Partey. They've just released Tomiyasu and Tierney and Tavares. So I don't know what they're gonna do in that department. Maybe they need to sign another left back. They do have Lewis Kelly. Maybe they need to sign a right back. Um, Maybe a right back more than a left back. And there's also rumors that they've signed Gyökeres. He's gonna be having a medical soon with Arsenal, I believe. If they sign him, he had a goal infested season. He had a lot of goals for Sporting. So I think that would be a fantastic signing for them to finally sign the striker they're looking for. And I believe they've also signed Madueke from Chelsea. If I believe it was for 50 million, I think that would be a good rotational player for Arsenal. That's why I think they could finish anywhere from champions, second, third, or fourth. I have them at second place. That's where they finished the last 3 years. It could be interchangeable. They could finish champions this season. They had a very good run in the Champions League, and I think they could potentially do it again this season. Um, if everybody stays healthy. Now, last but not least, Liverpool. I think Liverpool have had one of the more impressive transfer windows. They've signed Milos Kerkis, Florian Wirtz, Jeremy Frimpong, Giorgio Mamarashvili has just come back from Valencia, and yes, they lost Trent Alexander-Arnold. Yes, they let go of Kelleher, Kwanzaa, young center back, but I believe they will be signing some more, maybe one or two more signings. Rumors are that they might even sign. They might be looking at Rodrigo. They might be looking at Ekitike. Um, if they got players like that, I think they would potentially be one of the stronger teams. I think I've seen rumors that they were having offers from Luis Diaz or something like that. I'm not sure. Um, and yes, unfortunately, may he rest in peace. Diogo Jota, won't be part of the club, obviously, for obvious reasons. He passed away. Sad, sad for the football community, to have a loss like that. But they might find a replacement for him as well. May he rest in peace. With that being said, I do think that Liverpool will finish champions back to back, and if they might even have a decent run in the Champions League as well. So yeah, that's what I think. That's why I think the table is going to be looking like for the 2025 season. I think Liverpool will finish champions. Could be interchangeable with Arsenal. Newcastle, Man City, and Chelsea are interchangeable in my opinion. But I think where I put them, I think is where they potentially will finish. Maybe Man City finishes third, Newcastle maybe fourth. Um, Aston and Man United. I think Man United will be a mid-table team again this season. They haven't shown like enough in my opinion in the transfer window. If they do make one or two big more signings, I could even have them pushing for seven for Europe. Sunderland finishing in 15, I think it's reasonable with the signings that they've been making. Fulham not making any promising signings. Wolves making some okay signings, but not the best of signings, as well as with West Ham. So yeah, that's just my opinion. That's what I think 2025 season is going to be looking like. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I will post a shorter version of this on TikTok. If you made it this far, go ahead and drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more content to come. Maybe suggest some content that you think I should do, and I will gladly take consider your opinion on what you think I should do my next video on. Maybe I do a La Liga, maybe I do a Bundesliga, Italy, Serie A, or even League One. But yes, let me know, and we will see y'all in the next video. Thank you for watching it, and peace.